Hello everyone, welcome to the famous video everyone's been waiting for, the speech recognition tutorial video, how to work the speech recognition plugin that I found online that's pretty popular, I guess. It's floating around, it's been forked off GitHub a few times, so I'm sure it's a lot of people use it. But basically there wasn't any videos on how to properly configure it, so I decided to make one for the YouTubes. So in this video, we're going to, like I said, incorporate the plugin, and the end goal is just to have some actions triggered in Unreal Engine 5 that come from the speech. So basically, in this video, if I say float away, you can see the uh, little barrel is actually floating away because I told it to float away. And as you can see at the top left, every time I say float away, it's being picked up by the speech recognition plugin. So we're going to be working towards that. And yeah, hope you enjoy. All right, so let's get started. In the description of the video, I'm going to put two links that are going to be very helpful. The first link is this, what you're seeing right here. It's going to be demo projects. So if you just want to jump right in and have a go at it, there's actually 3 demo projects that were built with Unreal Engine 4, so 4.16, 4.17, 4.18. There's also Mac if you're a Mac user. But essentially, these projects are also required to get the model for the speech recognition. So if you don't know how speech recognition works, and I don't know how it works either, but I think basically models are just instructions or a structure for the code to use to decipher the actual speech that comes in. So, for example, if you're saying pick up the ball, it's going to use that model to understand what you're saying. So basically, these 3 projects here, they have the models inside, and usually you would download these to strip the model file from these projects. However, while I was doing this video, I realized that the owner of the GitHub repo that I was using actually added last month the model folder to the code, so we probably won't even need to do that. So the second link here is actually instructions, step-by-step instructions on how to do it. If you scroll down, there's actually instructions for UE4, but there are instructions a bit below for UE5, and these instructions are good. However, they do change now that the person actually added the model files to the code. So you see here, actually on step 3, it says unzip the model folder and download the content model from any sample projects, which is what we would have done. We don't need to do that apparently because it looks like he or she already put the model folder in the code. So we'll just come back to this real quick. Download code from GitHub. This is exactly the link that I just showed you. Brings us here. We can just go here in the code and hit download zip. This is going to download all the code for the plugin. I'm just going to hit save here. And that's downloading. Next is going to be to actually install the plugin on your project's directory. So if you don't know how to do that, there's also a link here. That's just the basic Unreal Engine documentation. Basically explains how to install plugins. If you scroll down here, you can install the plugin at the engine level or the game level. So we're going to do the game. You just need to go into the project and create a project root, create the folder plugins, and put the plugin. Alright, so the plugin just finished downloading. I put it right here. I pasted it in my UE4 projects folder. So now I'm just going to do an extract. So extract files here. Got my folder. So inside this folder, you're going to have 2 folders. One is model, one is speech recognition. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the speech recognition one, and we're going to put it into our project. So I created a new project called Voice Rico. I don't have a plugins folder, so I'm just going to create one real quick. Plugins. and then I'm gonna drop it in there. All right, and then the model file, I'm gonna take that as well, and I'm gonna drop it into the content folder, just like that. All right, so I'm in my project here. It's Voice Rico. I forgot to record this portion, but I basically literally just created a new empty project. Has nothing in it. You can see here. Now it has the model folder that I just added, but basically it has nothing else. So it's a fresh new project. And then if you go into Edit Plugins right here and you look for speech, you're gonna see the plugin that we just installed is not there. That's because when I installed it, the project was open. So if this happens to you, just restart your Unreal Engine and it should be there. So I'm gonna do that right now. All right, so I just closed it, reopened it. As you can see here, I have a little pop-up, project files out of date. That's the typical UE5 stuff. And it said new plugins. So if I go back into the plugins here and I look for speech, it is now there. It's turned on. I don't know if it's going to be by default for you, but for me, it's turned on. All good. We're ready to go. Now we can start implementing the plugin into our project. All right, now that we're ready to go, I'm just going to warn you guys, bear with me. I haven't done this in a while, so I might be cutting the video a bit here and there just because I don't want to show you guys all the thinking I have to do to remember how to do this, but here we go. So basically right now we can follow these steps right here. So back to the file, the link that's going to be provided. We're now at this step. So open your project and create a game state BP, which inherits from the speech recognition game state. So if you don't know what a game state is, it's out of the scope of this video, but basically you just create a blueprint class. You can look it up here, speech, it should show up. It's under actor info game state base, but here it is, speech recognition game state base. Just click on that to create a new game state. Call it, I don't know, test. People are gonna hate me for this, but game state BP. Cool. Next, we have to create a game mode just because this is a fresh new project. I don't have a new game mode, but you won't be able to edit the game state of the default game mode. So I just created a new game mode real quick. Go into edit, project settings. In the maps and modes, we see here the default game mode, which I can't edit. I'm just gonna grab the new one I created. And now I can change the game state, change it to the speech recognition game state, or the one that I created, which is this one. There you go. All right, now that we have our game state and our game mode, we could start actually putting in code words or phrases to do some actions. So open up the game state blueprint, open the full blueprint, and we can remove the event tick. So to create our recognition phrase, it's already in the plugin, so we just need to right click and hit make recognition phrase or phrases. I've never used phrases, but I'm assuming it's the same, but let's just start with phrase. So here, let's, for example, I'm going to make a phrase that turns off gravity. So I'm just going to say turn off gravity. All right. And the tolerance is literally how close to the phrase do you need to be for it to pick up. So I think V1 is the lowest. So if I say something like burn on bavity or something like that, it would pick up as turn off gravity since the tolerance is low. I find mine works best at V7, so I usually put V7. You can obviously figure out which one you want when you start using it. You'll figure out which tolerance works best for you. All right, next we need to make an array out of this, just because the plugin takes in an array, so you could add some pins, you could add more phrases if you want. So in my example video that I had hello and go away, so you can add as many phrases as you want, put it into the array, and then if you right click, you can have the speech recognition subsystem initialize. No, not that one, sorry. I apologize because it's been a while since I've done this, and I'm looking at my code on the other screen. You want this one, speech recognition subsystem, and if you pull off that, you have enable keyword mode. There you go. So the array of all your phrases, you could just plug it into here, and you want to enable this on the event begin play. All right, so that's it. You have your phrases here. You can plug them into the array, choose the tolerance. Those are just the phrase that will be picked up by the code. Compile, save, and just to add some notes that take it with a grain of salt, but in the class defaults, you could also technically put in some phrases here. So if you see the options here, you have the options for the language, so you can change the language, but I've never tried the other languages with the model, so I don't know how well that works. But if you want to try another language, go for it. Let me know in the comments how well it works. But if we stick with English, you could add some words here, and it's basically the same thing as this. However, I was never really able to make it work. Maybe I'm just stupid and misplugged somewhere, but basically you should be able to just say turn off gravity, put it as V7. Technically it should be the same. I don't know why I wasn't able to make it work. Again, maybe it's just because when I was doing that, it was I was not doing something properly. I have no idea, but if you are able to make it work, let me know. So I'll just delete it for now because I know at least this works. Good. All right, so that's it. That's it for our game state. All right, so let's continue. If you guys notice, I just skipped a bit. I created a new map, imported just a Megascan model just so that we can have something to work with, and created a blueprint out of it. Anyways, out of the scope of this project, but if you know what I'm talking about, then you know. If not, then you have other videos on UE5 to look at. So basically, now that we have something to work with, we're going to go into this actor blueprint, and I'm going to add some code for the speech recognition. So I can remove these two. And sorry, my computer is slowing down because I have a lot of things open. I have my old project that I'm copying open on another screen. All right, so start with bringing in the speech recognition subsystem. So again, write in speech, get the subsystem here. All right, here we're going to bind event to onward spoken. We have a few options here. I haven't played with the other ones, but I think they're sort of intuitive based on what's written. Some events are going to be going off when it's stopped, some it's on. So I'm working with on. So this is going to be the first part. We're going to bind this here. Next, we need to bind an actual event. Pull off the event here, because if you add a custom event, it's not going to work. But creating the custom event from the event here is going to work because there's an input here, as you can see. So let's just call this trigger, or whatever you want to call it, trigger speech. Great. So this is the event that's going to get called whenever the words are spoken. Off this, you can save this as a local variable if you want, but I'm just going to break it just so we can move on with the tutorial. On these, then you do a for each, and again, I'm sort of jumping steps just because a lot of it is out of the scope of the video, but obviously there's cleaner and better ways of doing this. I'm just doing the fast ways so that you guys understand what to do, and then you can apply your programming standards however you want. So okay, now that we have this, let's just start off by comparing the strings to see if it matches our sentence. So we had said turn off gravity was our keyword to trigger, and for now let's just print it. Okay, whatever. Cool. So it's gonna, if we say turn off gravity, it's gonna print out true. If I guess we could just screw this, and for now just, actually no, I want the example to be turn off gravity. Okay, let's do it like this. B for branch, if it's true, then we will print out the word turn off gravity. Good stuff. All right, and then I'm not sure if this is required, but I had it in my my code on end play. We're just going to close off the subsystem. So again, you can either pull off here or just get it again. There's a shutdown function that we're going to call. Again, I'm not sure if this is required, but it is technically a clean way of doing it. We want to turn it off when we stop. All right, good stuff. So this is basically the code for reading the phrases. So obviously, if you followed along and you understand basic programming, you understand that this trigger this event is called every time a word that was in the array is spoken, and then we just basically do a loop through the words that were said, and if they match whatever we want, we can do whatever we want after. So obviously this is quick and dirty, but you understand the logic and you can do whatever you want with your code. So last thing we need to do, there was actually a difference in the model that the person put in the GitHub. So there's actually a small thing we need to do. Going back to our project where the plugin is, so me, it's in Voice Rico here. If I go into the model folder, it's actually still zipped, so you need to unzip. So extract here, and inside the model folder, you're going to see is all the languages that we talked about that you can select from in the drop down. So these actually need to be up higher, so they need to be into the original model here. So I'm just gonna copy paste that. Boom. All right, so now we should work. It should be working. Let's hope I did everything correctly. So just gonna start play here, and now I'm talking, nothing's printing because I'm not saying any of the keywords. But if I say turn off gravity, turn off gravity, turn off gravity, fuck, there it is. Maybe the tolerance is a bit too high, but basically just saying the words actually triggered the event. So maybe it's just me being a bit poor at English. I am not an English native speaker, so maybe it's just not picking it up. But again, you could play with the tolerances and it should update to however you want. All right, so for the sake of the example, I added an impulse on the actor just to trigger when we say the keyword. So let's try again. I did drop it to V4, I think. So let's try. And I noticed that it is very dependent on obviously the mic, how you speak, etc. So let's just try. All right, so it's simulating right now. I'm talking, nothing's happening because I'm not saying any keywords, but when I start saying keywords, it'll try to pick it up, and then hopefully it'll work off the first try. So let's just say turn off gravity. Fuck. Turn off gravity. Float away. All right, so I did notice that maybe smaller words or smaller phrases could help. So you might have noticed I said float away. So oh, and you see I said it again and it did turn off again. Float away. So see, maybe 2 words is better, but if you can deduce what I did, then good job, but I'll just go over it. So basically in the game state, I did add a float away just to trick you guys, but also to show how it works. So float away, I put it as a V7 tolerance. Again, I was saying that V7 works best for me. I don't know. Put it into the array, plugged it back in, and then going back here, all I did was again in the for loop, quick and dirty. If the word is float away, I basically sent it back to the same, adding impulse and just turning off gravity. So basically, this is how you would do it for if you had more than one phrase. So again, in the video show that I was showcasing the speech recognition, I had hello and go away. Basically, when I would say hello, the NPC would walk towards me, and then when I would say go away, he would walk away from me. So pretty simple stuff once you get the hang of it, but that's pretty much it. That's how it works, and then obviously you can pimp this out. You can add whatever you want. It's up to you, but that's how my code is working now. And if you're still here at the end of this video, wow, good job. You listened to me ramble and uh, sort of vomit words. Um, thank you. And I am working on a new game where this plugin will be used. It's basically a VR game that you are a shop owner and you get to talk to NPCs and customers. So I think this stuff, it could be a cool mechanic if it's added to a game properly. We don't really see games that much that use the speech recognition. There is the what's it called, Phasmophobia, that where you get to talk to a ghost and in VR, and then the ghost, if you read the Bible properly, it like goes away and stuff like that. That's pretty cool concept. So I would like to try to use this more and see that more in games, and I think it's a cool feature. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if stuff doesn't work. I'll try to get back to you. And if you liked the video, which is like pretty much my first tutorial ever, make sure to subscribe and let me know if you want to see more of that in the future. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.